Hello and welcome to this week's live chat about live streaming. If you are here and you can hear me and you can see me, please let me know in the chat. That would be amazing. Before the stream started, we've got live stream consultants jumping in. Good afternoon. Good morning for Frankie over 50, actually awake this week. I kind of get those feels today. My daughter was at a concert last night, so of course I can't go to sleep until she gets home. Those of you that are mums out in my audience, please let me know, do I grow out of this? Like, she's 19. Is there a point where I can just sleep when I know she's out and about? Anyway, it's a total sidetrack. Jerry Papandrea has made it. It's great to see you, Jerry. And Florida Manufactured Home Living looks and sounds good. Awesome. Thank you so much for letting me know. I really appreciate. I don't grow out of it. No, when they live with you, you don't grow. Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for the truth bomb. I appreciate that. Oh my gosh. Yes. Okay. She had a good time. I mean, that's the important thing. In this chat today, I wanted to have a little talk. I know that at the moment, social media is full of one particular topic. How do I put this? I don't actually want to broach that particular topic. I want to skirt around the edges of it. It's a very divisive topic. What I'm talking about is TikTok and the new rules, or the new legislation that the US are looking to put in place. So I don't want to deep dive into that, but I want to talk about what that could mean for people. And I know some people, especially here, I'm like all in on YouTube. I love YouTube. This is my priority. But I also do have other ways I can communicate, talk, impact my audience. And I want to talk to you about being able to make sure that you have that. Because while this might be affecting one particular social media platform, it may actually end up affecting others as well down the track. It's like this saying, that old saying, don't put all your eggs in one basket. And we do talk about diversifying our incomes. We do talk about making sure that we are protected and that we are on rented ground as creators. We don't own these platforms. Russell's going to love what I'm about to say right now, which is email lists. You do need to be cultivating an email list. And while they're not sexy, they're not, and not everybody is comfortable with writing, but having an email list as a way to contact your audience if something happens, or if something exciting happens, something good happens, a way to contact your audience is an email list. And there's so many options. There's so many options for which way you can go with an email list. There is the really sort of basic low-key MailChimp kind of route. There's the next step up, which is the Aweber or ConvertKit kind of thing. Then there's ActiveCampaign. And then you just sort of go up and up and up. Now, some of these have free tiers, some of them don't. But having an email list is a really important thing to do. Now, funnily enough, in organizing all of this, I actually forgot to put the link to my email list in the description, but I have put the link to my tools and resources page, and there is a form in the footer of all the pages of my website that you could join my email list if you want to join mine. But I do want to talk about how you can get people onto an email list, which is what I just did then, which was just asking, letting them know, hey, I actually have an email list if you would like to jump on that. I don't spam people on my email list. I don't send out emails all of the time. As a matter of fact, I've yet to send one from that particular email list setup. There's not very many people on it, and I actually know all those people, and I have other ways to communicate with them, but that's going to change. So the email list is a really important step that you can take. It's like you remember the last week when we were talking about suspenders and belt, and how you need to make sure you've got multiple ways to protect yourself, like in your streams and things like that. Well, this is that, but for looking after your audience or looking after your connection to your audience. We talk quite often about protecting your audience, protecting your community. Let's talk about protecting our connections to our communities. So I know that this is going to be like a bit of a broad range. So please, if you've got questions, if you are watching in the live streams I'm actually multi-streaming right now. So I'm going across multiple platforms as I'm trying to cultivate audiences on multiple platforms. So I'm currently live on YouTube, Twitter, and LinkedIn. I'm just going to randomly say social medias that I'm not. So it's YouTube, Twitter, and LinkedIn that I'm currently live on. And you can work out part of where your audience are, because we do talk about, being where your audience is, and you may want to be on YouTube but your audience is hardcore Facebook. So, being able to be in those places where they are is super helpful, but cultivating a secondary. So I prefer YouTube. You guys know that. I prefer YouTube. YouTube is my number one priority, but I also have Twitter. And I also have a very, very, very light touch over on Instagram. I don't do a lot over there, and I really should. I am planning on adding some more little live streams over there. More mobile stuff rather than, studio stuff, but getting that over there. Let us have a look in the chat here. Freaky Geek is in the house. Great to see you. Twitter is X. I know, but X is a dumb name. I'm sorry. It is just dumb. I will call it Twitter until there's fines. How do you secure your mailing list? In what regard, Michael? I use ConvertKit, and they're pretty good. So, it's... I rely on their security. I'm not quite sure what the question is there. So if you can clarify that would be great. So the first step is getting yourself a mailing list. And how do you do that? How do you build a mailing list? A really great way to have a mailing list is to have an opt-in. Have something that you can give people if they join the mailing list. Like the reason to join the mailing list is not just to, be able to get emails. It's also so you get something. So as a creator, you give them something. And it doesn't have to be anything enormous. It doesn't have to be anything of like a substantial value. It is just a little something, a little treat, a little something. So I'll be adding on a new thing onto my opt-in coming up this week, and I'll talk more about that in a video that I am putting out this week. So keep your eyes peeled for that, everybody. There's a video coming. Oh my God, what? So yeah, so the next thing I want to talk about is, and if you've got questions about email lists, drop them in, and I'll definitely give out, yes. I won't be giving out Yetis. Yetis are very expensive in Australia, and we're not talking expensive gifts. But speaking of Yetis, I have a Yeti. Okay, so for hackers and spammers, so I would first start. So Michael Sahovsky wants to know about how I protect my mail list from hackers and spammers. So first start, making sure that you're using a reputable email list company. So that's a big thing. And I say reputable. Look at who people are recommending. I am using ConvertKit, and for this channel, I'm using ConvertKit. For Fibrific, I use MailChimp, but I will be transferring over. It's just that's where I set it up. For a client, I use Aweber, and for another client, I use ConvertKit. So there's different ones, and they come down to some of them come down to cost and features. So keeping an eye on the fact that you are utilizing a reputable brand of mail client really is a huge part of that. The spammers comes down to I think sometimes for me, I feel like I'm being spammed too, because someone sends out an email every single day. I unsubscribe from email lists that send me an email every single day. I don't want an email every single day from, Jennifer from Cricket. I don't want that at all. I want just an email when there's something big, something new, or even just maybe once a week with a tip or something like that. So, having a look at the frequency of their email lists so you can check those out. But when it comes to like hackers and spams, utilizing a good, reputable email client is the safest way to go. They've got a lot of, it's their business to make sure that everyone's emails are safe. And that's what you're paying for, really. Okay, so the other thing the next thing I want to touch on is multiple platforms. Okay, so there's a conversation happening right now of people who are afraid of losing their entire business ecosystem because they are locked down to one platform, and that platform may or may not be disappearing. So my brain instantly went to, well, why have you only got one platform? Platforms are free to use. Why are you not cross-posting your content? And while you may have one platform that is your biggest, that is your most important, that is your priority, for me, YouTube, having the other platforms where you can just, as a final message or as a final hurrah or something, you can be like, look, if you are in this country that's no longer going to have access to this particular thing, you can access it over here. I still post all the stuff over there. I know it's a different experience, but it's over there if you want it. So having that thing already built before the doors close is a really important thing. Working out ways to transfer your content over without watermarks, being able to keep on top of things so that you can be slowly and building an audience, learning the new platform, things like that. You can be doing this. And I know it's extra work. I understand that. And I understand that a lot of us only have so many minutes a week that we can focus on each individual thing and then spreading it even thinner. So what I'm saying is cross-post it to these other platforms, maybe not being like 100% as active as you are on your main, but making sure that you've got something being posted there regularly. So for me, something I should be doing, which I am not, which I will be doing, is creating more shorts from these live streams and cross-posting those shorts to TikTok, Reels, things like that. Now, I do it sometimes. I don't do it all the time. It's not part of my regular routine. I also need to be doing these things. I'm not saying I'm like the paragon of virtue here. I am not. But these are all things that we could all be working on and doing to help cultivate audiences on other platforms. Now, like I said earlier, I'm actually multi-streaming. And while the computer needs to have a bit more load to be able to do it, I'm currently multi-streaming in Ecamm. So I've been testing this. I worked out on Thursday I cannot multi-stream in 4K on Ecamm from my connection. I crashed and burned and had to start a second stream. But 1080p works just fine. So, that's what we're doing here. We've got 1080p. And understanding and practicing and testing before it's make or break time is so important. Not putting so much pressure on it being a success the very first time. That's part of the issue, is that people are like, oh no, I can't make it as good for each platform. You probably can't. You can only focus so hard on really one thing and make it great. You can sprinkle your focus across other things and glancing focuses around to try and help. So Illegal Mining with Karen is here. SMA Sky has jumped in. Doug Hewson is in the house. Good morning, Doug. Amazing. Your destination's jumping in from Singapore. So good to see you. 1080p is plenty good for live streaming. I agree. I just like to test the limits. I found them. Yeah. So for me, I won't be going back to, and it wasn't the 1440, it was the full 4K, it was the 2160. I've done the 1440 with success before, but the 2160 said, yeah, no, crash. So it was not awesome. But being able to multi-stream, and we've got so many options for multi-streaming now. It used to be something that was a bit like, oh, you're going to have like crazy internet speeds and everything's got to be like lined up and perfect or it's not going to work. No, we've actually got cloud-based softwares that make it super easy. StreamYard, EVMux, and Restream are some really... Sorry, I've got a frog in my throat. I'll deal with that. Excuse me. StreamYard, EVMux, and Restream are all cloud-based streamers that you can multi-stream with. You'll have to check into their individual plans. Each of them are a bit different. So it is definitely worth looking into and seeing if one of these, even a free one, just a free trial or a free something, to check out if they work for you, if the workflow works for you. So right now, and I've been doing this for quite a few weeks now, I'm on Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube all at the same time. And I've done it through StreamYard. Now I'm doing it again through Ecamm just to double check, because I'm always testing things here, just to make sure it is always going great. So it is really important to test things out and see what works for you. So 720p is totally fine if that's what you're happy with. I like the 1080. A lot of my audience watch on television, so I try to make sure that they are able to get a decent picture on TV. And that's what I think of, is that they're trying to do that. But other than that, if the majority of your audience are watching on phones, 720 is 100% fine. It's still HD. Excuse me. But I'm one of these people. If you can do it at 1080, do it at 1080, because that future-proofs your content a little bit. But whatever works for you, should I change from 720? Hang on, here we go. This is a great question. Should I change from 720 to 1080? My teeth look like they have a gap. Is that because of low pixels? I honestly don't know, but you could test it, right? Like, if you have access to a 1080 plan, you could test it out and just see, does that make the difference or not? I don't know if it would make the difference in truth, but it could. So I would definitely test that out and see how that goes. Careful with the love of testing limits is easily passed on from generation to generation. Oh no, I've already done that. It's already passed on. It's terrifying. Doug says that when he streams with StreamYard, he's using 720p. So there you go. So Doug, who is what I would consider a professional streamer, is using 720p. It doesn't really matter that much. I was just testing things to see what I could do, see the limits of everything. I like to push a limit and then pull back a little. Does that make sense? That's kind of my whole life, is push the limit and then just pull back just a dash. And then some of the platforms actually don't let you above 720 anyway. So depending on the platform that you're on, some of them have different limits that they allow for different things. I know, is it LinkedIn? It might be LinkedIn that has, or it's either Twitter or LinkedIn. They have limits of what you can stream, stream size wise. So see how that goes. But being able to multi-stream using cloud-based softwares like StreamYard, EVMux, and Restream are really super useful. So having that in your back pocket is a great option. Now, right now, as I said, I'm using Ecamm. So that is a computer-based streaming software. So Ecamm, OBS, vMix, those sorts of ones where you download the software onto your computer. When you multi-stream from any of those, you are actually sending out multiple streams. So having those, you need to understand you will need a better internet connection. So you will need a better upload speed, and it will need to be a stable internet speed all the time. Excuse me. So that is Ecamm, vMix, OBS, and ones like that. Oh my goodness me. It's so early in the morning. This is my first real conversation. So my throat's like, hi, good morning. How are you? So you've got all these great, amazing options to be able to cast your net wider without like low effort even. So all you need to do is go and create your account, make sure that you're eligible for live streaming on the various platforms. They all have different hoops to jump through. And then set up your stream and go. So using the cloud-based ones, you don't even need additional upload speed. The cloud-based system does all the work. So you can spread your net easier that way. We've got some things coming through. I have noticed on other channels and my teeth don't have the gap, so it must be a pixel thing. That is weird, possibly. And do you know what? You actually might be the only person who sees the gap as well. It may not even be noticeable to other people. We are our own harshest critics when it comes to our physical selves and our and what we're pushing out into the social media world. Florida Manufactured says most folks are watching YouTube streaming don't realize they're watching 720p, even if it's streamed at 1080. Quite often and you're 100% right. Quite often people don't realize that even though they may prefer whatever the highest rate is, YouTube will choose a rate. So if you are watching, you can click the little there's a little cog on the view screen, tap that, and you can check to see what you're getting. And we do this on the Fibrific channel every now and again. And there's some people who didn't realize because they just thought my signal was weak, but they were watching it at 480p and they were able to bump it up to 1080 and we're just like, oh my gosh, it's so clear. And so YouTube will sometimes make these decisions for you. So you need to be going in and double checking for yourself as a viewer. Because that's adjustable on the viewer's end. We can't do anything about that as the streamer, other than going, hey, have you checked to see what resolution you're viewing at? So yeah, it's one of those things. Someone else told me if we sit in center, our image is being pulled the 16:9 with. I don't understand what you mean by that, honestly. I mean, all of the streams are 16:9, so whether you sit in the center or not, I mean, if you're on an angle, the angles can change the appearance, but if you sit at the center, I don't understand what that actually means, I'll be honest. So, yeah. Now, we've talked about multiple platforms, email lists, and why do we do all this? Why are we doing this? Because quite often we are trying to protect income. Now, I know some of us, this channel included, is not monetized. There is no way for you to gain income from the actual platform. So having a look at what your sorry, I'm gonna address some comments first. Russell said, I just checked and it was auto, so I've changed to 1080p. It's a bit sharper. There you go. But don't you find vertical recording is more slimming? No, for me, no, not at all. I'm the same across all the platforms. I don't notice a difference. Yeah, I suppose I haven't looked that hard. Look, and one of the big things for it is, ready, I'm just gonna say this thing. One of the big things is I actually try not to stare at my appearance too much because I'm very negative, and no matter what, I'm unhappy with the portrayal of the image. So if I look at it, I'll be like, oh, that's worse. Oh, that's even worse. Oh my God, that's worse. There's never a it's better. So I tend to like double check clarity, message, done. I don't tend to worry, like as long as I'm tidy, that's it, then I'm happy. That's it. So I don't go into that side of things very much. Because it messes with my own brain. So if you are needing that kind of information and that kind of data, there might be other channels that might be better suited for that kind of depth on the actual image. I'm not that person. I'm afraid. Livestream consultant says I just checked on my Samsung S10 and it had defaulted to 360 and it looked fine. There you go. See, because you're on the smaller screen. The pixels are closer together anyway, so yeah. And Frankie says that she hasn't noticed a difference either. There you go. So I think some of it's a mental game. Honestly, some of it's a mental game, and you just have to think about it. But what I was saying before I got sidetracked, is that, you know, when it comes down to some of this stuff, it's to protect our incomes, and it's to protect loss of income or against loss of income. So making sure that not only are you across multiple platforms, and I'm going to reiterate that, I'm not talking about going in 100% on every platform. I'm not saying that. You will go insane, especially if you are a solo creator and you've got other things that happen in your life, like at all. Being 100% across all the platforms is not sustainable. But being 100% on one platform with light touches on a few others and an email list, that's sustainable. So, and by light touches, I mean content repurposing or the occasional post that will suit that platform. On Instagram, I'll sometimes post photos of things that I don't post anywhere else because Instagram is photo first. On Twitter, I post on Twitter all the time just because I'm a big mouth. And so, you know, like things like that. So, you know, like light touches, not full content. Every single thing has to be light touches. So it is definitely something to keep in mind, and you need to keep an eye on how much time you've got, because it's so easy for it to be like platform creep where you're like trying to keep up with too many things. You need to protect your time and work out which is the most beneficial and the most value for you and make that the priority, but then light touch in other places just in case. So my next point is multiple income streams. So one of the issues that some of these people are coming across is if they lose their platform, they lose all of their income. And I'm going to say that again. If they lose their platform, they will lose all of their income. And that to me is horrifying. Can you imagine building up a following in a business, and then because of a decision that somebody else has made, it all disappears? That would be heartbreaking and just devastating. But it can also be solved. If you know that these things are coming, or even if you don't know, making sure that you have multiple income streams and multiple platforms means that when this stuff happens, while it's not ideal, and it's not, while it's not ideal that the ground is ripped out from underneath us, being prepared for some of these things to happen. If they never happen, so be it. But if they do happen, you're okay. It might take a little bit of work to sort of bolster up the next thing to the same level that one was at, but you're not starting back at zero. And this is, and I don't know, is this a thing with my brain where I'm like, I know my brain works a bit differently than some people sometimes. I plan for things. I plan for the worst case scenarios and then just hope they never happen. But if they do happen, I'm okay. I've planned for it. You know, like if our house floods, I've got a plastic crate that's got all our special things in it. All I have to do is grab that crate and throw it in the car. And then I don't have to run around grabbing different things. All the special things are in there. And the important things like birth certificates and you know, all that sort of stuff, that's all in there. And, you know, or if there's a fire or if we have to evacuate or whatever, there's the one crate. Now, there's things that would be lost that I would be sad about, like paintings and extra photos and, you know, bits and pieces. But the really important things that are hard to replace are safe. And I think that plan across my entire life. Okay, so that's the thing. I think about that across my entire life. Like, what is the emergency box? What's in my emergency box? I would be devastated if I lost this, or life would be so hard if this was gone. What do you need to do? And so let's have another look here in the chat. Oh, there you go. I think it's fine until on a big screen. I'll be honest, when people show me screenshots of my face on the big screen television, I always cringe. I'm just like, nah. I'm not meant for the big screen. I'm really not. So I don't look. Oh yeah, Doug's answering some questions in there. Oh, yep. Okay. The box you have to tick now is the image is altered. I use mockup Canva. Is saying no, still okay. So are you talking about AI alterations here, legal minded friends with Karen? YouTube, Doug, would you mind if, I don't know if you're public transporting or where you're at, could you grab the link for the rules on what has to be marked as AI altered? They're very clear on what you need to put in as to what's AI altered. They've made it as clear as they possibly can at this stage. Okay, so multiple income streams. So YouTube, the big one is YPP, right? So everyone wants to be in the partner program. Everyone wants to have access to memberships, whatever. Cool. Me too. You know, it's like, absolutely. But is that the be all and end all? No. Is that where the majority of most creators are making their income? I really hope not, because it's not awesome. It's not awesome. So being able to make sure that you can have sponsors or affiliates or one-on-one clients or even a part-time or full-time job around or outside of your channel, you don't want to lose the roof over your head because there's platform changes. Okay, so even down to workshops and classes and retreats and speaking gigs, there's so many varied and different things that you could be doing that could bring in little bits of income. And I personally rely on the other things. So I don't rely on the YPP. I just don't, because on this channel I just don't get any. Honestly, for this channel, the income that I get is, I'm just double check. I just saw my phone do something. Oh, it's just telling me I'm live. Good job. Good job, phone. Yes, I'm absolutely live. So I rely on like buy me a coffee because I don't have YPP here. Thank you, Doug, for sharing that link to the rules around AI. So yeah, I for Fiberific, the YouTube money is not nothing, but I rely on sales from my website, affiliates, and I run retreats and classes. So that's what I run over there. Over here, I rely on one-on-one, on client work, and on buy me a coffee. So different things. Oh, and affiliates. So working on sponsors, which is new for me. It's not really something I've done before. But having the variations and protecting your income so that if things happen, because stuff happens all the time, you guys, like lives crash, that happens, like as in live streams, lives crash. And depending on the software that you're using, sometimes it's easier or harder to get back in. But being prepared if you are having these different income streams, and from income from different platforms as well, can really help you. And they take the stress out of things. I can see a lot of high emotions through this current topic. There's a lot of high emotions. There's a lot of very vocal people with strong opinions. I don't know who's right and who's wrong. I don't know the answer to that. But the reality is I'm in Australia. I'm in a different country. It's not going to affect us the same way. So it will affect us, but not the same way. So making sure that you are not beholden to a single platform, that you have a way to communicate with your audience outside of that. It's so important. It really is. If you are watching here live or listening to the podcast or the replay, let me know in the chat. Do you have multiple income streams or multiple platforms? Let me know. Just you don't have to tell me what, just yes, no's. That would be great. If you have a yes to multiple platforms or a yes to multiple income streams, or a no. I would be really interested to know. I'm going to have a drink of water while I let the chat catch up. Oh, there we go. I have bubbly water today. I like my bubbly water. Frankie over 50 is, yep, she's covered. That's awesome. Florida manufactured is yes to several, which is excellent. I'm relieved as I'm seeing these yeses. I'm like, I feel like I'm like, okay, maybe I should have checked that first, because now I feel like I'm preaching to the choir. But absolutely important to have a look at these things. So Home Rapid Repair, only YouTube and Amazon affiliates so far, but you do have your business outside of your YouTube. So you've still got income coming from that as well. Livestream Consultants is working on both. Frankie's got YouTube, Twitch and Patreon. That is awesome. Doug says most income streams are non-YouTube. That's excellent. Because, these things, it's I feel like the doom and gloomer today. I really do. I feel like the doom and gloom of the internet. Like, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't build your business on shifting sands. You are renting, all of this stuff. But we do have to keep it in mind. Do you know what I mean? Like, we have to keep it in mind. We have to understand we don't own these platforms. We don't get a say in what happens. Like, StreamYard got sold. I had no idea it was up for sale. It could totally change. We don't know what's going to happen there yet. I love this. Doug says, by the way, when I Googled for that disclosure link, my video was the top video result. That's awesome. Congratulations. That's fantastic. Amazing Yacht Destination says not making any income yet. But you're making income outside of YouTube, right? I'm assuming, like, you're out in Singapore getting yachts ready. There we go. Oh, yeah, okay. I misunderstood the question. I have like 3 businesses. YouTube is a fun side project, but could be something amazing someday. Yeah. So because I know some of you actually run businesses that are similar to your YouTube channels or have a similar theme or industry to your YouTube channel. I'm counting the incomes outside of YouTube as well. Because what I'm thinking of is if YouTube shut down tomorrow in your country, if it was just closed, could you pay the rent? Could you put your next mortgage payment in? Could you, would that be the end of you? That sort of thing. That's where I'm at. So, I know that it's a tough call. It's very hard. No, nothing's going on with YouTube. No, or at least not as far as I'm aware. But I'm just saying, if, because we do have all these people that are having this exact question. If you're in the US and you have based your entire business around TikTok, your eyebrows are raised right now. Like, what am I going to do? Because it can happen. Things can change overnight. Rules can be made. Legislations can be written. Companies can crash. All sorts of stuff can happen. And you just need to be prepared for it. Yeah, YouTube is fine. TikTok, on the other hand, absolutely. And it's one of these things that just, it's like, be prepared, but don't let it, just don't let it consume you. So, like, I'm not talking about like go full prepper mode here, like where you've got, a basement full of dried beans. I'm just saying, be prepared and have a gentle touch on other platforms and have an email list. The anger here over TikTok going away isn't as bad as I thought. We've been sort of seeing it coming for a year and look, I might be reading different posts than you. I'm reading some really, what's the word I'm looking for? Some of them are quite aggressive, but that's not the word I'm looking for. They're very pointed, very, very much definitive opinions. Like some of the conversations that I've been seeing, and not just on Twitter, but around the traps on different socials, have been divisive. They've been like, I'm seeing like rifts in communities I wasn't expecting to see rifts in, and not just YouTube people, but people on other, like, very, very well, the vocal minority. They might be the minority, but they're definitely vocal. They're definitely vocal. So Yeah, and like in Australia, the rule, like we do have legislations around TikTok. So if you work for a government department or a government contractor in certain fields, you're not allowed to have TikTok on your devices. And so there's some of that. And I'm okay with that. That's like whatever. Like there's some companies won't let you even install anything. Like my husband's company, he can't even install. There was like a piece of software. I'm like, if you just install this, then we can do this together. And he's just like, I can't install it. And I was just like, oh, what? Controversial. It's a difficult, controversial topic. And I'm with you. I don't join in. I just don't. I don't join into the conversations. I read the conversations. I can see both sides of it. But at the same time, I'm just like, whoa, this is too much for me. But what I can do is not get involved in those conversations, but prepare my business, prepare my, and diversify to make sure that if something happened to one of the platforms that I'm passionate about, I'm not a big TikTok user personally. I do use TikTok. I do watch TikToks. I think some of them are hilarious and funny and really clever and well made, but I'm not like a heavy TikTok user. But being prepared in case something happened to something else. I think so for me, the internet around the world would have to go down before I disappeared. I'm basically like the cockroach of creators. You may not see me because I only scurry out in the dark, but I'll be on every platform. Let's not make a meme about that. Yes. Be aware, but don't let it get toxic in conversations. Yeah. And that's exactly it, because some of the conversations I'm seeing, toxic is the word. It really is. And controversial. And I'm not good with those conversations. I automatically, like, I have to sort of step back. So what I'll do is I'll step back and I'll have a look, and this is why we're having this stream today. I'll have a look and go, okay, what can I do to make sure that if something happened to one of the platforms that I like or use all the time, is to make sure that we do diversify. Oh, Roberto Blake's not the only one. Like so many like Justin Brown at Primal Video says the same thing. Roberto says the same thing. Like there's so many people out there going, you need to diversify. There've been so many instances. Like basically, if you're on the internet from about, I want to say 2017, was 2017 the first adpocalypse? I can't remember, but I think 2017, when the first adpocalypse happened, there was a similar issue. People were not diversified. All of a sudden, they lost majority of their YouTube income. So they were stuck. There were whole businesses that tanked because they relied on their YPP money for everything. And they weren't diversified. They were not diversified in anything. So this is why you need to be across different things. 2018, you think? Yeah, it was around there, that 2017, 2018. The new YPP kicked in February 2018. Yeah. I remember doing a survey for Hank Green, and we were talking about our April incomes. So I think that was a 2017. Then anyway, I'd have to have another look. Okay. So that particular instance, which that was the Adpocalypse 2. So 2018 was Adpocalypse 2, where they just went, that's it, we're changing everything. So Adpocalypse 1 was where all the advertisers pulled out and YouTube took a little bit of time to get them back. Adpocalypse 2 was when that particular instance happened, and then they decided, that's it, we have to change YPP. Okay, that's all right. I think I've got it. I think I'm clear now. All right. But yeah, so basically, here we go. SMA Sky says, even if services don't get shut down completely, occasionally they may be outages. As soon as I can plan on getting getting streamed out and streaming on multiple platforms. Yeah. And that's the thing as well. Like, there are days when YouTube's just down. It's not often, but it happens. And it may not be international, but like, there have been times where people are like, can anybody else stream today? Can anyone else upload a video today? You see it on Twitter. And it's like, no, YouTube's been down for like 3 hours. They're nearly back up, or, you know, they're back, sometimes an hour. But that's the hour you were going to stream. So, but being prepared, having backup plans on your backup plans. We rent this ground. We don't own it. We rent it. And when you rent anything, you have to have backup plans and alternatives and escape routes and everything all set up and ready to go at a moment's notice. So just let me know in the chat. Do you think that I'm being overly sensitive on this? Like, not sensitive, what's the word? Like, where I'm like, nope, everyone has to make sure that they're doing all of these things. Like, there's a word for it. My brain hasn't been giving me my words properly since I had COVID. It's really annoying. And I know the word and I'm stuck. But anyway, like, hypervigilant. Do you think I'm just being hypervigilant, or do you think that if you haven't done this, then maybe you should? Cautious, covering bases. Yeah. I like all of these, but hypervigilant was the word my brain was trying to come up with, or the two words. Dee's recent video gave me something to think about on the band's words list. Don't put literally all of your personal info, because if your channel gets hacked, they can do identity theft. Yeah, that's a really important one, but you definitely want parts of that information there so that it can't be put on screen. Definitely. Vigilant is good. Yes. No, you're not. I lost 400 per month I was relying on because they demonetized my K-pop channel and had no other source of income. I really felt it. Yeah, I can imagine, especially like, you know, that's like grocery money. That's easy. Like that's important money that you need. Yeah, putting all your eggs in one basket, just like we're talking about in the we don't want it. Paranoid, maybe a little. Yeah. What is it? The paranoia thing. Like just because you think you're being paranoid about something doesn't mean that they're not coming for you. Like, I can't remember. Anyway, there was something on a show. It cracked me up. But yeah, maybe I am a little paranoid about it. But it's because I want to be able to keep doing this for a long time, and I don't want to be 100% reliant on one platform for it. Now, I would love to say, pick a platform, go all in, ignore all the others. I would love to say that. I would love to go, just focus all your time and energy onto one thing. Don't make an email list. Excuse me, sorry. Don't make an email list. Don't do anything else. Just focus all your energy on this one thing. I'd love to be able to say that and mean it. I can't mean it. If you do that, it's so high risk. Like, you can do it. There's no rules that say you can't, but it is high risk. That is a high risk maneuver. And I'm not about high risk maneuvers. I'm about low risk maneuvers. I'm about maneuvering for a long time. So if that means I might need to maneuver over to this platform and maneuver over here and maneuver all over the shop, I'm there. I'm going to do that. But I'm definitely not into, just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they aren't after you. Yeah, I knew it was something like that, and I couldn't quite put all the words together. Thank you, Home Rapid Repair. But yeah, I'm not about the high risk. If you're after high risk, you're on the wrong channel. Definitely not about the high risk here. Yeah. I mean, you've got an out though. Florida manufactured home living. There is a way out. There's a couple, but there's a legal way out. So, do any of you have any questions for me while you're hanging out in the chat? Anything about what we've been discussing, YouTube related, live stream related? All of the above. Don't forget to pop them in the chat. I will happily try to answer your questions. I may not be able to. I don't know everything, but what I do know, I will share. So my question for you, while you guys are thinking about questions for me, is will you be taking a step this week or this month to solidify your ground on another platform or make an email list? Will there be any new actions happening? Have I inspired you to have a look and see if there's something you could be doing that's like low effort, to help protect you and your communication and your connection to your audience? What is your preferred secondary platform? That's a great question, Doug. What is your preferred secondary platform? For me, my preferred secondary platform would have to be, I want to say Twitter, but it's just not. It's Instagram. It is my preferred secondary platform. I use different platforms for different things. Twitter is where I go and scream into the void. But yeah, Instagram would probably be my preferred. You can have live streams, you can upload videos. It would definitely be definitely a way to have a majority of what I like to do on YouTube, but outside of something else. No, nothing's happening with YouTube. Nothing at all. As well, at least as far as I'm aware, nothing is happening. I'm just talking about just in case. I've been married 31 years. I don't want to weigh out. She knows all my secrets. Good point. When will you be creating a membership outside of YouTube for us to better support you? Well, I do have Buy Me a Coffee, and I have been looking at adding in their membership because we already have Buy Me a Coffee and you guys are used to it. I use Patreon for my other group. I have the channel memberships and Patreon there. But I'm thinking about having a test and a play on the Buy Me a Coffee memberships. I have had some messages about some stuff that they want an option. I don't know how to word this. They want an option to sponsor things, but regularly. So there'll be some like higher price points for that, but I'm looking at what I can offer as like regular membership stuff. So I'm still working on it, is what I'm saying. I'm still working on it. I'm trying to strike the balance, but it will be on Buy Me a Coffee, and I am looking at it. It is happening, but not this week. But I'm definitely researching it and looking into how it goes. And speaking of that, I just thought I'd check my messages. And
yes,
there we go.
Coffee. Cappuccino. Java. Yes.
So Amazing Yacht Destinations bought me 5 coffees and said, thank you for teaching us. Thank you so much, Amazing Yacht Destinations. I really appreciate those coffees. You know I do. Here we go. I need to do a live for a class assignment. Can I use free StreamYard account to a Facebook public business page? Yes, you can. You can still stream to Facebook pages, and you can still stream to Facebook groups, but to stream to a Facebook group, you have to set it up a little bit differently using the RTMP feature. But if you are streaming to a public page, like a page rather than a group, nothing has changed. It's all the same. It's only the API connection inside of groups that has changed on Facebook. So you'll be fine. You can totally use that. I think you speak out of experience. You see the damage it can cause, taking it to heart, need to diversify. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Wow, I love this. I'm rapidly falling in love with podcasting as a second major platform. That is awesome. I'm so glad you're enjoying it. I was a little worried for you. You seemed a little stressed about it, but I'm so happy that you're loving it. I've only recently realized, Home Rapid Repair says, I've only recently realized I'm using Twitter as my outreach to other creators and not YouTube channel building. It's actually very nice. Yeah, I'm kind of the same with Twitter. Like, yeah, I'll share my live streams into my Twitter feed. and my videos when I put them out. But I do majority use Twitter as social media, as connection to other people. And sometimes it's just to ask questions. Sometimes it's, you know, and quite often it's YouTube related or social media related. But yeah, I also yell at things, like I scream at the wind in Twitter. So if you need to hear me screaming at the wind, that's where you go. Or why don't you pin a link on YouTube in chat to buy your coffee? It's in my description. It is there. But no, I didn't pin a link. You're quite right. Let me just see if I can grab that link, because you're 100% correct. I could totally pin the link. If I can, it's just being naughty for me. Doug, thank you. Look, now I can pin that link. If I could get that to work. It's being naughty. I have to refresh that page. All right, let me see if I can pin. Oh no, still refreshing. My YouTube channel page went down. Not the stream, just the actual page I used to watch the chat. So let me just click on that. Oh, come on, stop that. Pin. Did that work? Yes, it did. There we go. You're right. It needed to be pinned. Now it's pinned. Thank you. It was in the description the whole time. Hiding. I could probably make a thing and have it sit up in the corners. I mean, I could do that. Twitter is where I met most of my K-pop friends who end up joining my channel or guesting on shows. Yeah, I get a lot of my ideas and conversations and all that sort of thing from Twitter as well. Yeah, absolutely. And I've made some really great connections over there. I like LinkedIn as well. I know not everybody likes LinkedIn, but I like LinkedIn because I do have like business side of my business. So yeah, legal moment. So what happened, just so everyone knows how it works, is Doug typed the comment in, but he cannot pin a comment. I had to pin the comment. So nobody else can pin your comments except for you, unless someone else is logged in as you, or I think a channel manager might be able to, but moderators and super mods cannot pin comments. But it is now pinned. There you go. Thank you for suggesting that. I should have thought about that. But yes, I will be working on that, because hello, it's exactly the conversation we're having, right? And all of these things, I'm still learning as well. Like I've been around the traps. I've been on YouTube since 2016. And you know, things have changed. Things constantly change. And keeping on top of the changing seas is really hard to do sometimes, especially across multiple platforms. But just making sure that you've got the knowledge that you need to keep going. It might not be 100% the best, but as long as you can keep going. I do try to keep on top of YouTube though. Yeah, Doug, I would be surprised if you could pin, like when I'm. Oh. Did that come up last time and I didn't see it? Because I don't watch my face while I'm streaming. Larry has bought me 5 coffees.
Yes, it's coffee time. Coffee.
Did that buy me a coffee thing
Jabba.
pop up
Yes.
for Amazing Yacht Destinations coffees as well? No. Whose was the last one? Thank you. Larry says more coffees. Thank you, Larry. Yeah. I don't know. Look, you know how we're talking about like, is something slimmer or not slimmer or whatever? I actually I'm like, right, okay, yep, I'm centered, everything's lined up, the thirds is all good. Then I try not to look at me. I look at the camera. So did I totally miss that first one and you guys never said anything? Or did it just not show up? I mean, it may not have shown up. Anyway, where are we? Louis dig into China through his blankets and his yoga mat. Now he's looking dejected because he's not happy about something. I have no idea what's going on down there. All right. Yeah, so Doug cannot pin. Oh.
Yes, it's coffee time. Coffee, 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 coffee.
Doug has bought
Java.
3 coffees because Livestream Pros need support. Oh, thank you. Yeah, amazing. It didn't show up, and neither is Doug's. That is weird. Well, at least I didn't miss it. Does that make that you know, like that's my takeaway from that. At least I didn't miss it. I'm just double checking. Buy Me a Coffee is definitely there. It is. It's most definitely not blocked. Oh, Legal Mind with Karen. It is pinned now. I pinned it. So Doug posted the comment, and then I clicked on his comment, and then I pinned it. And so it is pinned. Definitely is currently pinned. Oh, Doug showed up, but I was talking to the dog. Okay, sorry, Doug. Sorry, it showed up. So, yeah, maybe I should watch what I'm doing. I don't know. Welcome to What Not to Do in a Live Stream. Don't get distracted by your adorable dog who was digging to China. All right, well, Doug showed up, but Amazing Yacht Destination still didn't show up. Is that right? I don't know. I don't know. You heard the alert and then saw the BMAC. Oh, okay. All right. Well, I pressed the alert when because I've got my phone here and I saw I saw it come through on my phone. But I appreciate all of the coffees. Thank you, everybody. I do appreciate them all the time. And I will set up something that's a bit more monthly friendly. I just have to work out what to offer to make it, valuable. So, yeah. It's further away. It might still be coming. I mean, maybe? I don't know. I mean, no, he's not further away. So Larry's in the US. Amazing Yacht Destination is in Singapore, and Doug is in Brisbane. So, if that was the case, it started showing up when you pinned the link. Maybe that has... No, it shouldn't do. It shouldn't have anything to do with it. I don't know. I'm glad it's showing up now, though. Maybe we all missed it. I'm going to go back and check the replay. So if you guys see some random tweet about, oh my God, it wasn't there, or oh gosh, it was there. Yeah, it shows up as Doug's name because it was Doug's comment. So Doug commented. So what I'm going to do, right, is I'm going to pin your comment. Pinned. Oh, but no, if I replace, then I have to go and find the... that's right. There we go. So now the pinned comment is yours. So I can pin anybody's comment, whether it's mine or somebody else's. I can pin it. But I have to do the pinning. Like, you can do the comment, but I have to do the pinning. Does that make sense? So, yeah. So now I'm going to put... yeah. Let me just double check some stuff. All right. Does that make sense, Karen? I don't know. Oh, I'm in top chat. Let's change it to a live chat. And then I'll put Doug's, replace the pinned message with Doug's. There we go. So the buy me a coffee is back. Alrighty. I don't always fill out the social field on their site. On whose site? Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I added your comment as the pinned comment. Now I've changed it back to Doug's, but how I do that is, I'm just having a little look here. I'm just seeing if I can buy me a coffee. What's going on? Yeah, so So basically, I have another window open. I have I have two screens, and on my other screen, I actually have the YouTube live stream dashboard open. So I can see everything that is YouTube, not just what the streaming software I'm using. So on this screen over here, I have all my Ecamm stuff and anything else like my activity monitor, all the other stuff I have over here. On this screen, so that one over there, I have the music playlist and a YouTube window, the YouTube screen. And in the YouTube live chat, when you click on someone's name, just like when you're moderating, you have all the options. So instead of just timing them out or hiding the user or removing the comment, you also have the option to pin the comment or replace a pin message if there's already a pinned comment. So you can go through and do that and really build rapport. So if anyone in your community makes a really great point and you want everyone to see it, or like Doug popped in a link that I asked him to pop in, then I can pin that and I can highlight that. There's different ways to use the pinned comment during a live stream. Like, so a lot of creators like to have a pinned comment of a relevant video in their replays, but during a live stream, you want to make sure it's something relevant to the live stream. You don't want people clicking away to another video while you're still live. There's lots of really great ways to utilize some of these probably lesser known or underestimated features. Okay, let me have a look here. Oh, you don't always fill in the social on the site of buy me a coffee. You did this time. Okay. And then amazing. All right, I understand now. Thank you for the context. You don't need to create extra value. We just want to support you. You create value already. Well, maybe that will give me the impetus to start it, and then I can think about adding extra value later, which feels backwards. But if that's what you want, I'm not going to say no. I'm not going to be all like, no, you can't support my channel. You can't support me. There is no supporting, which is rubbish. You guys support me every week by turning up and not making me talk into the void for an hour on end. Oh, that makes sense. Awesome. Yeah. I'm glad to hear that. So yeah, I'm just having a little look through my list because you guys know I always have a little list. Just quickly look at my bad handwriting. I could be a doctor. Yes, I did cover everything. And I entitled it, Don't Build Your Livelihood on a Single Platform. Yeah. How true is that, Doug? How true is that? Monetize before you make it. BBD is a business by design. It's a James Wedmore program. Both Russell and I have done or are doing. It's like a constant thing. And that's the big takeaway, like monetize before you make it. If you're building a course, pre-sell into the beta of the course and then slowly build it out with those beta people helping you test it as you go, things like that. So yeah, but I hadn't really considered that as an option, which is silly because it's kind of exactly what I did over on Fiberific. But I don't know. I think I'm trying to like do different things in both places, like try and test different ways to success, because there's not one path to success. Like you guys all know that, right? There's not a single path to success. There's a myriad of journeys that take different lengths of time and different skill sets. My path to success for YouTube started in 2016 and I knew nothing. I knew lighting because I did theatre lighting. I knew lighting and I didn't have any good lights. So my lighting was terrible and I knew it was terrible, but I still put the videos up. I look like a ghost. So that was it. I didn't know how to make a video. I didn't have the gear to make videos. I had to go and buy a camera. Then I bought a bad camera and regretted that decision for a long time until that camera finally died because I put my foot down and refused to buy another one until it was dead. And I kind of still have that attitude. I don't replace things unless they die, or they either have to die or they have to no longer be fit for purpose. Like I can't like jerry-rig them to make them do what I want anymore. And the number of times I've live streamed with gear that you shouldn't be able to live stream with, but I did, is kind of hilarious. But yeah, I had to learn everything. I've had to learn editing. I had to learn how to edit. I've watched so many YouTube videos on so many editing softwares. I used to edit in DaVinci Resolve. That was my first editing. I had to go and get a computer built that could handle Resolve back in 2016. But yeah, it's a path. It's a journey, and it's not like a overnight success. And if you're expecting overnight success, you're going to be disappointed unless you are the rare unicorn, which I'm not. I don't know if anyone here is, but we're all on this path. We're all on this path together, and I really enjoy being on this journey with you all. And on that note, I am going to, like, unless there's some other questions that pop in, I am going to end the stream, I think. I think that's a really good place to put a pin in it. So I hope you all have a fantastic week. If you've got any more questions, feel free to drop them either in the comments or in or even, you know, at me on Twitter. All my socials are in the description. And I'd love to hear from you over there. Okay, bye now.